Interesting position right here, Chris, to be in, because this is a trap game, and that leads us right into our triple T heating, cooling, and plumbing keys of the game.
Yeah. So our third key we've got, don't overlook Woods Cross there, but I think also Spanish Fork should be able to run the ball on the ground here. If they're able to dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides, I think that they'll have a good shot of winning this ball game. Woods Cross doesn't look to throw a whole lot, so I think Spanish Fork's really going to have to they're able to run the ball and stop the run tonight. I think they'll have a lot of success.
So it should be fun here on a Wednesday night, the final week of the regular season in high school football in the state of Utah. The playoffs start next week, and we are set and ready to go. Woods Cross and Spanish Fork here on Spanish Fork 17. It will be Austin Bradley to kick it away for the Wildcats in white tops and dark blue pants. The Dons in silver helmets, red tops, black pants, and this one will be kicked into the end zone for Kate Olson, and the Dons will come out to the 20-yard line, and senior quarterback Austin Stevenson brings out the offense. And Chris, like you kind of talked about, this tonight might be a night where we see the Dons play a little more conservative, try to pound the run, see if they can build a lead early on.
Yeah, and Spanish Fork definitely has some backs that can run the ball between Joshua Buck and Tayson Reed. So, yeah, I think we'll see a heavy dose of the run and the offense trying to keep it simple.
So we'll see what Spanish Fork does. 1st and 10 Dons from their own 20 here on the first play from scrimmage.
And Joshua Buck's had a couple of games this season where he's gone over 200 yards. He's at 854 on the season, so he's looking at potentially going for over 1,000 yards.
He has jumped up. Because just a couple of weeks ago, Chris, before I think the Wasatch game, he was around 450 or so. It's really been those last two games that have really jumped his yardage total up. Buck in the backfield on 1st and 10 next to Austin Stevenson. Gets the call right up the middle. A good gain on first down of about 4, maybe 5 yards. It is a chilly night here in Spanish Fork, and that's going to be one of those things where you might see a little more running game, and it's going to be hard to throw the ball tonight with how cold it is down on the field.
Yeah, and it's been raining a lot. I think that the one thing that has happened, though, is it's, with this artificial turf, I don't think it's going to be as wet as if they were playing on grass. I might be wrong, though.
It'll be 2nd and about 5 coming up here for Spanish Fork. Stevenson gives to Joshua Buck. Buck has a hole. Cross the 45 to midfield. He's going to get tripped up and then go down at the Woods Cross 40. And that's one of those big plays from Josh Buck that you were talking about, Chris. And that gives Spanish Fork a first down.
And just a great run, I believe, between the guard and the tackle that time on the left side. And touchdown saving tackle by Bradley Austin there at the end for Woods Cross, or that would have been a huge touchdown there for Joshua Buck. But I imagine he's going to get the ball a lot tonight, especially if Woods Cross is unable to stop the run.
1st down and 10 from the 41-yard line of Woods Cross. Just the 3rd play from scrimmage coming here for the Dons. Buck again gets the call through the tackles. He's going to have another 4, about 3. It looks like they're going to only give him 3 there on the carry. But a good pickup on 1st down brings up 2nd and about 7.
But the good thing that's happening so far for this Spanish Fork offense is that line they have there is firing off, and you're seeing some pretty big hauls for Buck so far.
So we'll see right here, 2nd down and 7 coming up here for Spanish Fork. 4 wide receivers here on 2nd and 7. Buck the single back. Jace Gunter goes in motion. They'll give it to Gunter, coming back on the reverse, trying to get it outside. 35-30 for Gunter, and he's going to have a first down for Spanish Fork. A nice pickup there as they go with some misdirection there on the reverse.
Yeah, and it looked like Easton was trying to hold the edge there, number 70 for Woods Cross, but Gunter's able to break, contain, turn upfield, and get the first down.
They'll mark the ball at the Woods Cross 30-yard line here. Ready to go with 4 wide receivers. Here, the Dons haven't gone to the air yet here this evening on their opening drive as Tayson Reed gets the call straight up the middle, and Reed's going to get 4. And this is one thing we've seen Spanish Fork, when they really commit to the run, they have worn down Wasatch and Maple Mountain really in that second half.
Oh, for sure. You get exhausted trying to tackle somebody all game long. And I think it's smart. They play a lot of Reed on defense, so he's not necessarily the featured back, and they went with Joshua Buck, who's done a fantastic job, and he'll be back next year. He's just a junior.
2nd down and 6, ball on the 26. Stevenson back to throw, pump fake, goes for it all, looking for Cade Olson, who makes a last-second adjustment and couldn't bring it in. The pass falls incomplete, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 6.
Oh, and that one was so close, and Austin Stevenson and Cade Olson connected on what I think is a record, a 99-yard touchdown pass earlier this season. I don't think you can get much further than that, so we'll give him a world record.
Brings up a 3rd down and 6 coming up.
And not running on second, the Dons have fallen behind kind of on the down and distance schedule.
Ready to go right here. Give up the middle. And getting in outside is Tayson Reed. He makes one-man miss and gets in. Touchdown, Spanish Fork. Tayson Reed from about 26 yards out, and 6-0 Dons.
Yeah, great job by Reed. And he shows a lot of patience on this run, waiting for the hole to develop, waiting for some blocks downfield, and then just shows a burst of speed when he needs it. So great job by him, and great job by that line that blocked well on that first drive.
Stevenson will try to add the point after touchdown try with 9:16 to play in the opening quarter. And Spanish Fork finds a way to score here on their opening drive of the contest. Snap good, hold good, kick, looks good from here, and it's through. And so Spanish Fork takes the 80-yard drive. Chris ends up in the end zone, and again, I think it was all run, maybe that one pass to Cade Olson.
Yeah, there was the one incomplete pass, but you got to keep the defense honest, but a really good job of that line really dominating the line of scrimmage, and Buck and Reed were able to take advantage of those blocks.
For Spanish Fork right now, a lot at stake in this contest. They're trying to make sure when Saturday morning, when they release the final RPI in the state playoff bracket, the Dons trying to stay in that top 3, have a bye. But really, Chris, you brought up something good when we were talking for the broadcast. You stay in the top 4, you guarantee yourself home games until the semifinals.
Yeah, you do for sure. And the one issue with playing Woods Cross is they haven't won a game, so that's going to hurt your opponent's win percentage. And Woods Cross has played some tough opponents, so they have a pretty high opponent's percentage. I guess it helps when you're 0-9, you help your opponent's win percentage. So I think they'll get hurt in the opponent's win percentage, but on the opponent's win percentage, they should get a bump from playing Woods Cross, if that made any sense.
Brock Tandy and Kelvin Malapaya back deep, and Malapaya will watch this one go into the end zone. They'll actually rule that a touchback, and they'll bring the ball out to the 20-yard line for this Woods Cross offense, who is a little bit different offense than what Spanish Fork has been used to seeing. The Dons have seen a lot of spread, especially in the last few weeks. This is a Woods Cross team, Chris, maybe still trying to find an offensive identity 9 games into the year, but it's going to be a little bit more of a ground attack.
Oh, for sure, and I think the last 4 or 5 weeks, maybe since the last time they played against a more traditional non-spread offense, was probably September 10th when the Dons beat Springville.
Lining up at quarterback will be Canton Nagel, the senior quarterback. Goes under center for the 1st and 10 play. There's the give to the running back going in motion. That is outside to Caden Feller, number 2 on the carry. And Feller able to work his way ahead for a yard, maybe 2.
And it looked like that run was going to have a chance, but Feller just ran east and west instead of north and south on that play.
So I would imagine we're going to see Woods Cross go with a lot of different backs, Chris, and probably just kind of shuffle guys in and out for a majority of the ball game.
Yeah, and Woods Cross has like 5 guys with over 100 yards rushing this season, and that's pretty unusual at the high school level.
Under center, here's a give straight up the middle. Not much going on. A whole host of Dons getting there on the carry for it was Cash Henderson on the carry for Woods Cross. The Woods Cross roster that we have gives their last name first. So we might have a couple times where we mix up the first and last names tonight. 8:05 to play here in the first quarter. It's a 3rd down and 6 coming up for Woods Cross.
Woods Cross in no hurry to get this offense running, but they go with no tight ends, but a couple of fullbacks, if you will, in this spread almost option setup they got here.
And right there, looks like Woods Cross is going to jump. We'll wait for the official call. And
was that on Reed or was that on Woods Cross?
It looked like one official made the offside signal, and now they'll kind of talk about it right here and kind of see here with 7:34 to go here in the first quarter. And we'll see here as the officials kind of sort this one out. It could be a couple of different ways it could go right here, and Woods Cross is backing up.
They're backing up. I only saw Reed jump, but he must have. Actually, they did call it on Reed, so.
It's going to bring up a 3rd and 1. That's a big boost there for Woods Cross. In this style of an offense, Chris, for Woods Cross, a big difference between 3rd and 6 we need to throw versus 3rd and 1, where they kind of fits their offense to be in that 3rd and 1 a little bit more.
Yeah, when they run a lot of their option sets, they can really, maybe you give it to the fullback in this case. We'll have to see which way that they send their guy in motion.
They'll give it to Henderson. He's going to have a 1st down out to about the 33, maybe the 34, but nonetheless for Woods Cross, if you're the Wildcats there, you get a fresh set of downs to work with. And Chris, with both offenses running the ball, especially with the way this Woods Cross offense is set up, this is going to move the game clock really quick tonight. Yeah,
for sure. We'll see a lot less incomplete passes most likely, which will also keep the clock running, and they're not going no huddle.
They've snapped it, I think, under 10 majority of the time tonight. Straight up the middle, Cash Henderson again gets the call, and Henderson brought down at the 39-yard line. So a good pickup of about 6 right here from Woods Cross. And the Wildcats seem to have the approach, at least early on, of saying, hey, this is our offense and this is what we're going to do. They're not really being secretive too much about what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. The one thing that Woods Cross has struggled with, and you're probably not going to see a lot of high-scoring option teams, is getting points on the board. They have only had 14 points is the highest they've scored. They've done it a couple of times, but at times they've struggled, and probably part of it is how methodical their offense is.
Feller goes in motion. They fake it to Feller. The quarterback, Nagel, keeps it and runs right in to Clay Filiau there for Spanish Fork.
Oh, and what a great tackle by Clay that time, as he's able to put a pretty big hit on Nagel.
A short gain for Woods Cross, but nonetheless a gain of a couple right here. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 2 coming up.
I think if you're Reed, you probably can sell out on trying to stop Henderson here, the fullback, if that's who's still lined up back there.
Henderson is back there. On 3rd and 2, Feller in motion. Nagel keeps it straight up ahead, reaches for the 1st down to about the 44-yard line, and that will be again be the second 1st down that Woods Cross has gotten on this drive.
A great play call that time. I'm sure everybody was expecting the fullback to get it. Instead of delaying it and getting to the fullback, they just let Nagel keep it, and he picks up the 1st down.
So right here, 1st and 10 coming up for Maple Mountain. Or sorry, not for Maple Mountain, for Woods Cross. I was trying to catch the Maple Mountain score, so with that, the Wildcats have the football at their own 44-yard line.
We wish Spanish Fork could play Maple. Fumble.
Ball picked up immediately by Nagel. He'll fall on it. The heads-up play. He'll lose about 1.5 yards, maybe 2, to bring up 2nd and 12.
And that's tough because Woods Cross needs to pick up about 3 or 4 yards every carry to keep themselves on the schedule of the down and distance they want to be in. And when you lose a couple yards, well, it puts them in a situation where if they don't get a 5 or 6 yards here on 2nd down, that they'll be forced to a passing situation, and they haven't thrown too many passes this season.
Maple Mountain leading Mountain Crest 3-0. That's in the first quarter. But a 2nd and 12 coming up here for Woods Cross. Back to throw. Nagel rolls away. The left-hander throws down the field. Has a receiver that's complete inside the 40 and out of bounds for Brock Tandy. And a big play through the air right there for the Woods Cross Wildcats.
Yeah, great job. Everybody thought they were going to throw it, run at that time. So single coverage in the backside. And Tandy's able to get open. And Tandy's their leading receiver. He's got over 200 yards on the season now on only 13 catches.
Tandy listed it as a running back. Will kind of line up in a couple of different spots in that Woods Cross offense. The Wildcats threatening in Spanish Fork territory, getting it outside. Here's Feller on the carry, and Feller's going to get a couple down to about the 27-yard line. A good pickup right there, and brings up 2nd down about 8 with 3:42 to play the first quarter, 7-0 Dons.
Yeah. Pretty good run there. It looked like it was going to go for a little more, and then Reed used some great closing speed to have a pretty hard hit on that play.
A gain of 2 officially for Caden Feller, the senior running back. Right here, 13 on the play clock for Woods Cross. Wildcats line up under center. And there's Henderson straight up the middle, right into a whole host of Dons. Tayson Reed, one of the first ones there. Dylan Thomas as well, and makes it 3rd and long. And if you're the Spanish Fork defense, Chris, these are the situations you want to put Woods Cross. You want to make them throw it in 3rd and long.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is the part of the field where Woods Cross is probably in 4-down territory, so I wouldn't be shocked if they ran it here. However, they had a lot of success on that first pass play that they had, so we'll see what they do here.
3rd down and 9 coming up, ball on the 28-yard line of Spanish Fork. Woods Cross trying to answer. They'll send a man in motion. Nagel keeps it and runs into 3 Dons. Rupena getting there along with Tayson Reed. And one other Don that I'm trying to see, I think that may have been Tenny Worthen getting there. It's going to bring up 4th down and about 10. They lose a yard there on the carry.
Woods Cross is lining up for the field goal here. It's going to be about a 46-yard attempt. Is that Bradley lining up? I'm getting the thumbs up from Ryan Bradley to attempt this decent length field goal.
It's going to be about a 45-yard kick. Snap good, hold good, plenty of leg it looks like, and it is no good. I think he missed it wide to the right, and Spanish Fork will hold, but Woods Cross does exactly what the Wildcats want to do in this game, Chris. Chew up a whole lot of clock. Unfortunately, they just didn't get the points.
Yeah, and that would have been good if Bradley would have been able to make that kick. But I thought it was in, and then I just saw it drifting to the right there, but he's got a leg. Very impressive drive by Woods Cross, though. As they were able to pick up multiple first downs. They didn't have any penalties, so the one criticism you could have for Spanish Fork is they weren't able to get off the field on multiple 3rd downs stops there, but they end up giving no points, so no harm, no foul, as they say.
Minute 42 to go, opening quarter, 7-0 lead Dons. Spanish Fork scored on their first possession of the game, went 80 yards, and found a way to get in the end zone. We'll see what Spanish Fork does here. Stevenson back to throw. Pressure comes, steps up, throws down the seam, looking for Worthen. That one hit him in the hands. It goes incomplete. Brings up 2nd and 10. Good coverage on Tenny Worthen. Definitely made it a tough play right there, but that brings up 2nd down.
Yeah, there was a fantastic throw, and Worthen's just unable to come up with it that time as he's got a guy in his face, but that's one maybe you got to help your quarterback out a little bit with if you're Worthen, and I'm sure he's wishing he had that one back.
Ready to go right here. 2nd and 10 coming up. 1:37 to play here in the opening quarter. Thanks for joining us here on a Wednesday night for high school football. The final regular season broadcast of the season. Tenny Worthen gets the call on the sweep, trying to get outside and does get the corner. cuts it up to the 30, and then gets pulled down across the 35-yard line. A good pickup by Tenny Worthen right there on the sweep.
Yeah, that's the second time we've seen Worthen on that jet sweep there. Looks like the quarterback has the option to keep it. He makes the right decision to give it to Worthen, and he's picked up big yardage so far tonight.
So right here, it's going to be a 1st and 10 for Spanish Fork. Ball at the 36-yard line. Worthen keeps it again on the sweep, trying to get outside across the 40 to about the 42-yard line, give or take, before being brought down.
Yeah, they try it to the far side of your screen or their left side this time, and still, anytime you can pick up 7-8 yards on first down, that's a very successful play. So the Dons are doing a great job of running the ball tonight so far. No yards passing yet, but probably over 100 yards now rushing.
2nd and 7 for the Dons, 41 seconds to play in the quarter. Gunter goes in motion. Stevenson has to now just make something out of nothing. Makes a couple of men miss, breaks a tackle, and then goes down back at the 39-yard line.
And this is coming back. There was a block in the back by Schwenke, who was just trying to help free his quarterback up. I don't think that's one of those penalties where you get too upset because it's in the, with somebody trying to make a play.
So back Spanish Fork up here with 33 to play, or 33 seconds to play here in the first quarter. We'll see here what the penalty is for sure, but nonetheless, the Dons backing up. It will be a personal foul. And so that will back up Spanish Fork. It will send them back 15 on the penalty. So it's going to push the ball just inside the 20-yard line, and they may mark it about the 20.
Well, they've only got to get 26, and they have a couple of downs before they might want to punt it.
So 2nd down and 19 coming up. They'll back them up to the 26.
They're back to the 20.
To the 19. It's 2nd down and 26. Stevenson takes the quarterback draw. Cross the 25. And then Stevenson goes down right around the 25 or the 26. So picks up about 7. Makes it 3rd down, still in about 18 coming up.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see a lot of go routes here. Spanish Fork has had a lot of success throwing it to Kate Olson. So I'm sure Woods Cross will want to keep their eyes on them as we end the quarter.
We've reached the end of the first quarter here from Spanish Fork High School. Dons lead the Wildcats 7-0 here on Spanish Fork 17.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport. Paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right.
If you want the real deal, contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Start of the second quarter here on Spanish Fork 17. Ryan Pickens alongside Chris Hurst. And Chris, it seems like each year the high school football season goes quicker and quicker. And for Spanish Fork right here, they're in a 3rd down and 19. Not a lot you can do right here, but you do have the 7-0 lead over Woods Cross.
They do, and I think you just, if you want to play a little conservative and trust your defense, maybe you try and get it on the ground here. But I imagine Spanish Fork's been aggressive all time this whole season, so they're probably going to throw it and see if they can't pick it up here.
They got to get out to across the 46-yard line. They'll look for Kate Olson, who makes the catch at the 35. Spins, tries to get past a couple of defenders, dragging a couple more defenders down to about the 42-yard line. It will be about 4 yards short, but a good pickup. And this may be tempting for head coach Dustin Smith not to roll the dice and go for it on 4th down.
They're lining up fast, but remember, Stevenson's also the punter, so this might just be a quick punt type situation.
Stevenson and Buck in the backfield. Don's ready to go. 4th down, about 4. Stevenson with the hard count, looks over. They need about the 46-yard line right here. Now letting some of that clock go. 15 seconds on the play clock for the Dons. Stevenson making some adjustments right here. He might just be going hard count to try to see if they can get Woods Cross to jump. And now timeout called, Spanish Fork, with 11:07 to play here in the second quarter. Let's go ahead and thank our sponsors for making tonight's broadcast possible here on Spanish Fork 17. We got 2 Jack's Pizza, the Clegg Auto Group, the Driggs Mortgage Team, McKell Thompson and Hunter, attorneys at law, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, MVP Sports, and Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance. We thank them for making this broadcast tonight possible here. We also want to welcome those watching on youtube.com/SpanishFork17. You can also catch replays of this broadcast, our many other SF17 programming, and also any upcoming broadcasts as well. You can look for our YouTube page, youtube.com/SpanishFork17. Our next game, we don't know who's going to be playing in it, Chris, but we do know that given the record that Spanish Fork has and where they're at in the RPI, pretty safe to say the Dons have put themselves in the playoffs.
They put themselves in the playoffs. Maple Mountain's at the 25th spot, just a couple fractions away from making the playoffs. So we'll see if they make it in. But, so far, Spanish Fork's put themselves in a good spot to make the playoffs. It would, they're a lock. Now the question is, if they lose this game, do they drop out of the top 8 and have to play next week?
Stevenson will punt it away from the 31-yard line. Good end-over-end punt. Takes a nice roll for Stevenson and the Dons inside the 20, and it will settle down right around the 16-yard line or so. So Woods Cross will be pinned back deep in their own territory with 10:56 to play before halftime and a 7-0 lead. And right here, Woods Cross, Chris, had a nice drive on their opening drive, got a couple first downs, moved the football, chewed up a lot of clock, just unfortunately didn't come away with any points.
Yeah, they run this triple option, and they were able to get a lot of yards using the fullback, but really the key play for that Woods Cross offense was that pass completion that they had out to Tandy.
Nagel under center. Henderson again lined up as the deep back for the Woods Cross Wildcats. They'll give it on the sweep. That was number 12. That was Calvin Malapaye. And Malapaye, they're able to pick up about 3.
A great misdirection to get 3 yards. I thought Nagel still had the ball on that play, and I was watching him. I think that's what our cameras were watching as well.
Bring up 2nd down and 6 after a short gain here for Woods Cross. And this is one thing right now, this game being a 7-0 lead, this is where Woods Cross can be a very dangerous team because they're going to chew up clock and they really want to play in a close ball game.
And anything can happen. Just one wrong bounce of the ball and you can have a tie score just like that.
There's a completion making a man miss and a nice open field tackle by Darian Henderson as it was again Brock Tandy making the play down the seam.
And Tandy with his second catch, he's, like I mentioned, I believe the leading receiver for Woods Cross on the season. And good spin move, but Harrison was able to hang on and bring him down. But really quick pass, and I think that's what you kind of have to have when you have an option offense, is also have the threat to throw it in this single coverage.
Ready to go. Pressure and Nagel hit. Ball comes loose. Tayson Reed hit the quarterback when they went to hand it off, and Spanish Fork comes away with the turnover right there, and that's a McKell Thompson and Hunter attorneys at law. Great defensive play.
Yeah, and Rapina blasted in there as well, and so great job by the Dons getting a lot of penetration into the Woods Cross backfield that time and really owning the line of scrimmage there.
So Spanish Fork takes over at the Woods Cross 34-yard line here with 9:44 to play in the opening quarter, or here in the second quarter. Ready to go. Joshua Buck on the carry. Cuts it up the middle. Has enough for a first down. Still dragging defenders down to about the 21-yard line. First down Dons, and the Dons are right on the edge of the red zone.
Yeah. They pull the guard that time, and Reed is able to follow behind number 57, McKay, there on the line and keep those legs moving. And that's the great thing about these Dons backs is whether it's Reed or whether it's it's Buck. They keep those legs moving, and they play until the end of the whistle.
Our score graphic here is of the scoreboard, so we do want to remind viewers that they have it listed on the scoreboard as quarter one. It is the second quarter here for everyone watching at home tonight. First down and 10 from the 21-yard line. Rupena goes in motion. They'll give it to Joshua Buck. Buck trying to make a move, cuts it up inside the 15, right at the 15-yard line. Another good pickup of about 6.
Yeah, and it's nothing it's nothing difficult here, or fancy, I should say, for the Dons, is they're just really running it between the tackles and having a lot of success, which sets up some play action. And also we've seen the end around work very well tonight on those jet sweeps. So really the Dons offense is firing on all cylinders.
Second down and 4 from the 15-yard line. Dons field joined by Austin Stevenson. And this time they'll pitch it outside. Buck trying to get the corner to the 15. He'll be brought down right around the 11, the 10 or 11, depending on the spot. And that's going to bring up probably a third and about a yard or so for the Dons.
And they gave him the first down, so they're dropping the chains. Some are saying that was an amazing spot for the Dons there that time, and they'll pick up the first down, and now they have 3 or 4 opportunities to put it in the end zone.
8 minutes to play before halftime. The clock running running really quick tonight. Hasn't stopped too much. Stevenson under center. Here is Fealua there. He breaks a tackle, still on his feet, cuts back inside the 5, down to about the 10, or down to the 5, where he's brought down.
And Fealua has been doing a great job playing fullback, so it's good to see him get a carry here, get some positive yards. And he's a great defensive end, defensive tackle on the defensive side as well. I think this Dons team has played really well, and they've surprised some people. They weren't picked to win the region, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were at the 5th spot in the Des News poll, preseason poll.
Stevenson gives it. Rupena walks in, touchdown, Spanish Fork.
And we'll get the other fullback some love as Tubby Rupena runs it in for 5 or 6 yards there. And the Dons now with a 13-0 lead.
So they take advantage of the short field that ends in points. And a nice job there for the Dons. It's a 13-0 lead.
And Rupena caused that fumble on that prior series. Gets rewarded by picking up the touchdown. He might be our early leading candidate for the MVP Sports MVP Player of the Game.
Austin Stevenson on for the point after touchdown try. Snap good, the hold good, the kick is good. And right there, a big extra point there, a 14-0 lead for Spanish Fork on top of the Woods Cross Wildcats. Here with 7:12 to play before halftime. Ryan Pickens alongside Chris Hurst. And Chris, when you really take a look at it, Spanish Fork not showing really any signs so far anyway of them being caught up in the moment or overlooking Woods Cross.
Well, and I think credit to this coaching staff. You've seen a consistent Dons effort every week of the season, no matter who they're playing, whether it's one of the toughest opponents on their schedule, Springville, down to maybe the team with the worst record prior to Woods Cross is Salem Hills. They've gotten up for every ball game, and they've been pretty consistent at running the ball and then sprinkling in the passing game when they need to. And I think we've seen the defense play rock solid this season as well.
So it'll be kickoff coming here, back deep to receive for Woods Cross. It's Calvin Malapaya and Malapaya, and it will be Malapaya from about the 1. Across the 15, trying to bounce it outside. Across the 20, 25, 32-yard line or so before he's brought down. Right there, a good open field tackle, I believe, by Aaron Norris. And with 7:04 to play here, Woods Cross gets the football, trailing by 2 scores, and this is kind of the polar opposite situation if you're Woods Cross, Chris. Down by 2 scores. 2 scores with this offense sometimes can really seem like 3 or 4.
Well, and we were at Highland High School last year when Spanish Fork went up there, And that was tough for Highland. They fell down a little bit. Their offense is not designed to throw the ball downfield. So we'll see if Woods Cross, now that they're down by 2 touchdowns, pivots a little bit, or if they continue to try and keep running with this option attack.
Nagel under center, and penalty flag will fly, and I think this time it's going to go against Woods Cross. Right here, it looks like they had a false start.
Yeah, I think that's 51, the right tackle, Patuatai.
And they'll back up Woods Cross 5 yards, so it'll make it 1st and 15. Inside the 30, they'll mark the ball at the 27-yard line. Coming up at the half, we'll have the halftime show here for you from Spanish Fork High School. And we'll check some scores from throughout the state, and then we'll get you ready for the second half. Right there, one thing to know, Maple Mountain has just scored. It's now 9-0 Golden Eagles. Nagel back to throw, throws this one over the middle, incomplete. Looking there for Brock Tandy, and that will bring up 2nd and long.
Yeah, 2nd and long situation, and Woods Cross gave up a fumble lost a fumble on their last drive, and so kind of resorting to some throwing game now to start this drive. So I think credit Spanish Fork's interior. Those defensive linemen and linebackers have been doing a great job of playing assignment sign football.
Ready to go right here, 2nd and 15. Single back Henderson. They're in kind of a shotgun formation or a pistol look here. Nagel's going to roll out, being chased by Tayson Reed, and now he'll go down. It was Reed getting there, and number 52. That is Schwenke getting there, and a 2 Jacks Pizza quarterback sack to those 2 gentlemen there. Now you put Woods Cross definitely in a position they don't want to be, 3rd and super long.
Yeah, it's going to be about 3rd and 25-ish, and I don't think there's any offense that's got too many play calls for 3rd and 25. So wouldn't be surprised if Woods Cross just tried to keep it on the ground here, pick up a few yards, and play for field position rather than having another negative play.
Nagel under center right here. 1 man in motion. They'll give it to Henderson up the middle. Henderson runs right into Rupena, who gets there for the tackle.
That brings up 4th and long, and out comes the punt team. So 3 and out for the Dons here. Great drive, or great defensive stop. Woods Cross, not such a hot drive.
Rupena there on the tackle, the 6-foot junior fullback, defensive end, linebacker, plays a little bit everywhere for Spanish Fork. Back deep to receive the punt for the Dons, I believe, is Darian Harrison. Woods Cross will punt from inside their own 5. Their punter right now standing about his own yard line. Dons coming for the block, almost run into the punter. That one's over Harrison's head, a good punt. And that's going to roll down to about the 31-yard line of Spanish Fork. And right now, that's the kind of punter you want to see if you're a team like Woods Cross. Really, any team will take that kind of a punt.
Yeah, Harrison was a little too shallow that time, goes over his head, and great job by that punter to flip the field position that time.
5:25 to go before halftime. 14-0 lead. Spanish Fork with the football. Any reason to think, Chris, we'll see any kind of changes in the offense, or right now the running game is the one that's working for Spanish Fork?
And we'll see who they give it to. A few more guys got involved with Rupena and Fiali getting a couple carries on that last drive. But I imagine the Dons might open it up and go play action here on 1st down.
1st and 10. Here's Joshua Buck. Bounces this one outside to the 35-yard line or so. Gain of about 4 on 1st down for the Dons. A nice pickup there from Joshua Buck. Brings up 2nd and 6.
And we've got just over 5 minutes left in this half, and this is only Spanish Fork's 4th possession of the game.
Stevenson sends Lukens in motion. Gives it to Buck again. Buck across the 40. He'll be brought down around the 42-yard line or so. But, again, that's right around the yard they needed, and it's a 1st down Spanish Fork.
Yeah, they give him the 43 that time. 1st down Dons, and Buck really does a great job of of accelerating, but also staying low. So when he gets that first hit, he's able to continue to move the pile or continue to get extra yards after contact.
They give the Dons and Joshua Buck on that last carry the 43-yard line. And it's a 1st and 10 play for the Dons. Lukens again in motion. Stevenson sets up the screen pass. Here's Tenny Worthen, who makes the catch. Worthen makes a man miss and then gets brought down at the 48-yard line. A short pickup there on 2nd down.
But it's we got a penalty. Don't see anything down there.
So it'll bring up 2nd down at about 5.
So you get about half of what you need there on 2nd down. That clock's still moving. And Spanish Fork with Reed. I think that's Reed in the backfield this time. See, oh, they jump off sides.
So right here we'll see, and it looks like they're going to get an illegal procedure, a false start against the Dons. They'll back the Dons up, and so now that positive gain you just got is erased, and it's going to be 2nd and long.
Well, and that's Aaron Dunn jumping off that time, but he's played great overall. He's just a freshman. They list him at 6'8", 265. So I wonder how big he'll be when he's a senior.
Well, we'll find out maybe in 4 years, Chris. That's going to be interesting to see. Stevenson sets up the screen. Cade Olson makes the catch down the sideline, 45-40. Woods Cross will make the stop, force him out of bounds. A nice job by Caden Feller, but right there, that's the speed and the dangerous play right there of Cade Olson.
Yeah, Cade Olson gets open, and as you see on your screen there, Colin Shelley gets downfield, makes a block. You can get your lineman downfield if it's a pass that's within a yard or two of the line of scrimmage, and great play call by the Dons there as they get Olson with the cavalry ahead of him blocking.
1st and 10 Dons, ball at the Woods Cross 35. 3 receivers set. And they'll give it a fumble in the backfield, picked up by Tayson Reed, who will make one man miss and now fight ahead for some kind of yardage. He'll end up losing about a yard, maybe a half a yard, depending on the spot. But nonetheless, that could have been a disastrous turnover before half for the Dons.
Absolutely, that could have been a disaster, as Reed's able not only to pick it up, but also pick it up cleanly. And a lot of times you'll see guys drop it when they try and pick it up like that, and the defenders are able to get on it. So I don't know if the coaches want Reed necessarily trying to make a play or just jumping on it on that point. But regardless, Reed's almost able to get back to the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 11 coming up right here. 4 wide receivers. And Stevenson back to throw. Pressure comes. Screen pass is going to be batted away, almost intercepted on the defensive line. Right there, a heads-up play. It was number 68, Alvin Pafua, who tips the pass, almost came up with an interception right there.
Yeah, and Pafua's got the paw on it. Actually, that's
66.
That's Prestwich that time, able to get a hand on it. Not able to come up with the catch, but nonetheless, no gain, in Spanish Forks in a 3rd and long.
Back to throw. Stevenson looking downfield now, pressured from the backside, and Woods Cross gets there and brings down Stevenson. Pressure came. It was Stefan Alafipo and a couple of other Wildcats getting there, and a good pursuit of Stevenson, and now it's 4th and long with under 2 minutes to play before halftime.
Yeah, now Alafipo with the sack there. We'll call that a 2-jack sack, and 4th and forever. So I imagine the Dons are in more of a punting situation. If you're Woods Cross, you've kept this within a couple possessions here. You know, they're one big INT away from being right back in this ball game, or a big run on the offensive side.
Spanish Forks just letting the play clock wind down, and then they'll call timeout right here. Their 2nd here of the half.
Maybe you take the penalty. It looks like they did. Or did they call they called timeout. Take the penalty, it just moves your punter back a little bit to give him a little more room.
It's 14-0 Dons lead over the Woods Cross Wildcats here on Spanish Fork 17. Ryan Pickens alongside Chris Hurst. And Chris, kind of a fun, exciting filled first half. Senior night here at Spanish Fork. Senior night, kind of like homecoming, one of those games. If you're Spanish Fork, you really want to have a good shot and ultimately win your senior night.
Oh, yeah, you want to win every game, but for some of these kids, it's probably one of the last times. Spanish Fork is going to make it to the playoffs, but it's also you want to win that last regular season game. They had a ceremony, I believe, earlier this evening, so yeah, you don't want to go home, and especially with the long weekend with a loss.
It's going to be 4th down and 18. Ball on the 43-yard line right here of Woods Cross. We'll see what the Spanish Fork, and Stevenson's on to punt. When no one's back for Woods Cross, the Wildcats, I think, were pretty set they were going to go for it. They're trying to scramble. Spanish Fork, it looks like, didn't have enough players on the field either, so 8 seconds on the play clock, and Chris may have been right. They may have to take a delay a game or call, and they'll get it off. High punt from the 48-yard line to about the 14. It takes a Spanish Fork bounce and will roll to the 12, and that's where the 13. Where it's down with 1:16 to play right here. Woods Cross does have all 3 of their timeouts, but this is a Wildcats offense that isn't built necessarily for 2-minute drives.
Yeah, and I wonder if Coach Dustin Smith for the Dons wishes he had a couple more of his timeouts. And the reason is if you get a stop here, maybe you want to use a timeout and force Woods Cross to run it. We've seen Woods Cross put the football down on the carpet once tonight. So we'll see what happens here. But not a whole lot of time for Woods Cross, so I imagine we'll see probably a little bit of Henderson, the fullback, getting the ball on this drive.
In shotgun, Nagel, the quarterback, looking to throw. Steps up, rolls away for some pressure, throws downfield, has a man. I think that might have been intercepted. Question is, inbounds, it's a catch. It's picked off right there by Chase Pepper, the senior corner, who comes away with the INT.
A great job by Pepper staying in between the receiver and the quarterback and watching that the whole way. So second Dons turnover that they've caused tonight.
The last turnover, the Dons turned it into 7 points. We'll see what they can do here with 1:10 to play before halftime. 14-0 lead for Spanish Fork here on top of Woods Cross. Here the final regular season game of the year. 3 receivers on the field here for the Dons. Stevenson gives it to Buck. Buck breaks the tackle, tries to make something out of nothing, runs over a defender, has a first down and more inside the 15, down to about the 11. And right there, Joshua Buck determined to get the first down and then some.
It breaks a couple of tackles there, and we were talking about that earlier, how he's able to get a ton of yards after contact. He was hit 3 times before he's brought down by the 4th guy.
1st and 10 coming up for the Dons, and Joshua Buck straight up the middle, breaks 1 tackle to the 5. He's in, touchdown, Spanish Fork. Joshua Buck, it's 20-0 Dons with 46 seconds to play in the first half.
And our 3rd different Don with a touchdown run here in the half, and Spanish Fork is able to score quickly here right before the half, and I believe they get the ball, so up 21-0. They could extend that lead to 28. And then you're just, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Another touchdown away from getting that running clock with the mercy rule.
Austin Stevenson on here for the point after touchdown try. Right here. Snap good, hold good, kick good for Stevenson. And it's a 21-0 lead here for the Spanish Fork Dons on top of the Woods Cross Wildcats. 46 seconds to play. And really, if you're Spanish Fork, you're not out of the woods yet of potentially forcing another turnover and getting the ball back. And really, if Dustin Smith had all 3 timeouts, you have to think he would have been maybe tempted to use some of them.
Yeah, he might have been tempted to use them on the prior drive, but Woods Cross threw an INT. I imagine we'll just see Woods Cross take a knee or run it with the fullback and be real conservative here before the half, because you don't want to fall behind by 4 touchdowns with 3 of them coming in the last couple minutes of the game, or of the half.
Brock Tandy and Calvin Malapaya back deep here for Woods Cross. The kick goes deep, and it will be Tandy from about the 4. Cross the 15, tries to get it outside, and he's going to be brought down at around the 14-yard line or so. I thought Tandy was going to make a move and get across at least out to the 20, but he's brought down at the 15, and it's 1st and 10 Wildcats.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple turnovers here for the Wildcats. So it's been tough. You want to make sure that you play till the end. You only play so many high school football games, and Woods Cross has a lot of underclassmen that have been playing this season, which is valuable experience for the future. But I imagine maybe you don't go conservative. It's the last game of the year, probably for Woods Cross, so you might as well just roll out all the stops here.
It's easy to think, hey, we have nothing to lose. Why not play for some points? And it looks like on the first play from scrimmage, there's going to be a penalty come right here. And I would imagine this is going to be a false start. And it will be against the Wildcats, and it will back them up 5 here with 39 seconds to play here in the half. It brings up a 1st and 15. They'll move it back to the 10. So ball will be back on the 10-yard line right here. 39 seconds here to play in the first half.
The other thing that might be factoring is it's cold out there.
Henderson straight up the middle, and Henderson's going to get to about the 18 or the 19. So kind of like Chris said, give it to the fullback and go straight up the middle.
I thought Henderson, if he's able to get away from one more guy, it's off to the track meet to see who's the fastest guy on the field.
20 seconds, whistles blow, and I think we may have a timeout called. I think Spanish Fork may have used their last timeout here. 21-0 lead for Spanish Fork on top of Woods Cross. We're coming up here, the final 20 seconds of the half right here. As Spanish Fork, and you think about one of the biggest things for Spanish Fork, Chris, that you want to focus on tonight, it'd be probably nice to get up into that point. You can get the JV players in, get them some varsity time. You can get your starters off the field and not risk anybody getting hurt for the playoffs.
I think the last thing you want is to have a big lead and then have somebody get injured. That's a key cog of this Spanish Fork team, because they have a potential run for a state championship. Spanish Fork's never won a state championship, and so came close a couple of times. But I think that's the ultimate goal, especially how well this Dons team has played. There's some tough teams in the 5A classification, but I think the Dons are one of them.
20 seconds to play here in the first half. Right here, ready to go is Woods Cross out of the timeout. And the whistles blow, and I think we're going to have a penalty. There may have been another false start. And this looks like going to be indicated offsides coming against the Dons. We'll wait to get the official call right here, but it will be a dead ball offside penalty. So that will give Woods Cross a free 5 yards and push him a little bit closer to a first down here to end the first half. As the Wildcats would love any kind of positive momentum that Woods Cross can take into the halftime locker room. They would prefer to be able to end the half on a positive note.
Yeah, for sure. Tough season so far for Woods Cross, but a really tough matchup for them to end the season. Woods Cross played an extremely difficult non-conference schedule, and then they play in a tough Region 5. So it's not one of these 0-9 teams where Spanish Fork's just going to come in and blow out, and we've seen that so far in the half. Despite the Dons leading 21-0, it's really been off of turnovers.
They give to Henderson on the carry. Henderson will maybe lose a yard or so right there. Brings up 3rd down and long. Timeout called right here by Woods Cross. So the Wildcats will set up a 3rd down and short right here.
And they want to see if they can pick up some yards here. They have 2 timeouts. You can't take them into the half. Now it would be an absolute disaster if they turn it over on this next play and give up more points to the Dons. But like we mentioned, you might as well just go for it this entire game if you're Woods Cross. You have nothing to lose.
So right now we'll see the play coming out here of the timeout. It seems like the last about 2-3 minutes has just taken a long time to play with teams using timeouts and touchdowns and breaks, but we'll see what happens here with 13 seconds to play. Woods Cross has 2 timeouts left. Spanish Fork is out of timeouts.
It's like the last 2 minutes of any NCAA basketball game takes as long as the first 38 minutes of the basketball game.
You get timeouts, media timeouts in there, and
reviews.
Ready to go right here. 3rd down and 3 coming up for Woods Cross. Back to throw with some time. Nagel rolls away, looking downfield. He'll be pushed out of bounds right there by Lukens.
And it's 4th down. With the clock stopped 7 seconds, that's like the worst case scenario for Woods Cross.
And the Wildcats are going to send out Austin Bradley to punt.
I think Dustin Smith should get 2 guys back there to fill this, one really deep and one short, and kind of might as well try and get a return out of this, and that's looking like what they're going to do.
Darian Harrison back deep right here. Right here is ready to go right here with 7 seconds here. Now the Dons will get an extra returner out there. Tenny Worthen dropping back with Darian Harrison.
The line markers, oh, there they go. They change it to 4th finally.
Dons look like they're coming. Penalty flag, and this may be an offsides. And if this is an offsides, it will give Woods Cross a 1st down. The Dons were trying to, it looks like, bring some kind of pressure up the middle to see if Woods Cross would jump, and instead it's going to be offside Spanish Fork. 1st down, Woods Cross.
And Woods Cross has had quite a few 1st downs. That one aided by a penalty. So the Dons will be unable to have a punt return there.
So 1st and 10 from their own 27-yard line. 7 seconds to play in the half. Coming up at halftime, we'll have the halftime show for you here from Spanish Fork High School. We'll check some scores from throughout the region and throughout the state. We'll get you ready for the second half here for high school football in Spanish Fork 17. Wildcats line up like they'll take a knee, and the Wildcats do take a knee, and that should end the first half here at Spanish Fork. 21-0 lead. The Dons on top of the Woods Cross Wildcats. When we come back, we'll have the halftime show from Spanish Fork High School here on Spanish Fork 17.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if you do, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Call McKell, Thompson & Hunter, 801-798-9000.
Hi, welcome to Two Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
I definitely recommend the Driggs team. They're amazing.
Hi, I'm Greg with the Driggs Mortgage Team, where we believe there's no substitute for experience. Stop by our office today on Main Street and let us help you get into your brand new home.
At Clegg Auto Body, we pay attention to all the finer details, the small things. You know, a lot of people feel like they want their car quick and fast, but it takes time to get perfection. We work for the customer.
And Sarah Schmidt. They also want to congratulate the football team on their region championship. Give it up for your Las Cholitas. Let's hear it for your last cheerleaders drill team. And now, give it up for your Spanish Fork cheerleaders. Tonight, the cheerleaders will be performing their big time. That was choreographed by assistant coach Katie Jenks and sophomore captain Ian Meadows. We'd like to recognize our senior cheerleaders, Julie Daly, Issa Gordon, Maddie Thornton, and Avery Young. Give it up again for your Spanish Fork cheerleaders. Let's hear it for your Spanish Fork cheerleaders. Fans, at this time, we want to recognize the donors who made our new digital scoreboard possible in this beautiful stadium. The platinum level PG companies. And at the gold level.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
I definitely recommend the Driggs team. They're amazing.
Hi, I'm Greg with the Driggs Mortgage Team, where we believe there's no substitute for experience. Stop by our office today on Main Street and let us help you get into your brand new home.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport. Paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
At Clegg Auto Body, we pay attention to all the finer details, the small things. You know, a lot of people feel like they want their car quick and fast, but it takes time to get perfection. We work for the customer.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if you do, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Call McKell, Thompson & Hunter, 801-798-9000.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right.
If you want the real deal, contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Halftime here at Spanish Fork High School, a 21-0 lead for the Dons on top of the Woods Cross Wildcats. Ryan Pickens alongside Chris Hurst. And Chris, we kind of wondered at this point what we would see in this ball game. Sometimes when you're at the end of the season, when you've clinched a region title like Spanish Fork has, you know you're looking like you're in the top part of the RPI and a high seed the state tournament. You have an 0-9 team that all of a sudden comes in on your senior night. Sometimes you can struggle a little bit and that 0-9 team can play well, but tonight it's really been the Dons have done a great job of really just kind of taking every stage of this ball game from Woods Cross.
Yeah, and one of the strengths of this Dons team has been the defense and their ability to get turnovers, and we saw the Dons cause a fumble and then also have an INT in the first half, and they haven't given up a whole lot of points as of late. So I think great job by the defense, and then the offense has really done a great job of handing it off to some of their athletes in space and allowing them to get some yards. We saw some end arounds by Worthen, and then also Joshua Buck's done a great job of running up the middle.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look here at our Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing keys to the game, because, Chris, really when we talked about it, really the three keys right now that Spanish Fork has done, they've checked all three boxes, and really that's one of the reasons why they're up 21-0.
Yeah, they've ran the ball really well. They've well over 100 yards rushing, probably close to 200 yards in the first half. They've done a great job on the defensive line of really dominating the line of scrimmage there and on offense. And then they haven't overlooked Woods Cross, but Woods Cross is here to play, so they're running their offense here. But I think the Dons get the ball to start the half out, if I'm not mistaken, and that they could get a big turnaround. There's a lot going on in the booth right now, so I apologize why I laughed. But, so far you're right, Ryan. We'll just summarize it as the Dons have met all three of those keys.
It's interesting to kind of see. You kind of wondered if they might run the ball, and really just try to make it simple and just kind of simplify the game plan, so to speak. And really, that's kind of what the Dons have done, and they have found a way to do that in a way to help them be successful. Biggest thing probably in the second half, you probably would like to get up a couple more scores, get the JV team in. Biggest thing, you want to get out of this one right, injury-free.
Yeah, and if the Dons are able to get a couple of scores, as you mentioned, we'll run into that mercy rule where the clock will only stop on change of possessions. Even if it's an incomplete pass, they just keep that clock running. And we've done those games, and they go really fast. And I think that's probably the goal of Dustin Smith, the head coach of the Dons, and his staff is just, hey, let's just get this lead up to a couple more touchdowns, put in some JV guys like Ryan mentioned, and get on with things.
For Woods Cross, this is a young team. They have a first-year head coach who came over. Brody Benson comes in. Benson played the Dons a year ago when he was the head coach at Highland in that playoff game you referenced earlier, Chris. Same kind of offense that we saw in that Highland game, and it really was in the second half. That's when Brody Benson and the Rams were able to kind of get that offense going, and they chipped their way back in. Is there maybe a sense of urgency that Brody Benson may make some halftime adjustments and be able to help chip the Wildcats back in?
Yeah, for sure. And this type of offense isn't one that a lot of people run in youth league football. It's Woods Cross probably first year running the triple option here. So at the end of the day, it's probably going to take the Woods Cross team a couple of years to get it going, and they've had 9 games to prepare, so it looks like, Brody Benson's been able to institute it a little better, so it's up to the Dons to make sure that they play assignment sound defense.
It's definitely exciting to see. we have about 2.5 minutes, and then they'll put the 3 minutes back on the clock here before we get ready for the half, to end the half. If we can go ahead and maybe take a break and come back, we'll get a couple of scores for you and get you ready to start the second half here on Spanish Fork 17.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport: paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right.
If you want the real deal, contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
$21-0 lead for Spanish Fork on top of Woods Cross. We're here at halftime. Here, a couple of scores here that are kind of interesting. We talked to that Maple Mountain Crest game. The Golden Eagles have taken control 16-0, and that one's early third quarter over at Maple Mountain. Golden Eagles really in a position, Chris, where if they didn't win this final game, they're probably outside of the top 24. A win potentially puts them in. Potentially, we'll have to kind of wait and see how the final numbers go out.
Yeah, and I'm forgetting who's 24. It might be, I'm not even going to
I think it's Box Elder.
Box Elder's who I was thinking. And they're at like .375. Not very good at fractions or decimals, but that's really close. And the big thing is Maple Mountain's win percentage. If they win that game, would jump up to .3, and is that about 60% or 40%, or I don't know.
Something like that. And the other thing you have to remember is all these opponents here in Region 8. Wasatch isn't playing this week.
Nobody else is playing.
That's right. Nobody else is playing. So
yeah,
the only other advantage that any of these teams can have in any movement really is the opponent's winning percentage, Chris. And this is where some of those non-region schedules and some of the non-region schedules of your opponent and your opponents can really come into play.
Yeah, and credit Salem Hills athletic director for scheduling well. They go 1-8. And they played some tough teams apparently, and are in that 23rd spot. Maple Mountain's 2-7. They played Pleasant Grove, who's had a disappointing season, and some other opponents in Maple Mountain has some not the greatest record. But the one thing I've noticed is Maple Mountain played Farmington, who was struggling with their record earlier in the season, and Farmington's played some tough teams and then started to beat some of these tough teams, and we've seen Maple Mountain climb. I don't know if that's the entire correlation, but I imagine that's some of it.
It's definitely interesting. One score, Chris talking about that RPI and how interesting it would be. Ridgeline 36, Box Elder 15. So if there's one thing going in favor of Maple Mountain tonight, it's they're winning, the team above them is losing.
Yeah, and we got our Region 9 standing, so congratulations to both Spanish Fork and Springville for being co-region champs. In our opinion here at Spanish Fork 17, now this is just our opinion, since they went head-to-head with Springville, that they're the region champs.
They will be listed above Springville since they do have that tiebreaker, but both teams there a co-Region 9 championship. But for Spanish Fork, you talk about where this program has gone, Chris, in the last maybe 4 or 5 years to now get to a spot where you win a region championship. And especially, you take a look at it, you get into August, you lose your starting quarterback, your senior starting quarterback, and there was, again, some people wondering, and a thought process that goes, you have to replace your quarterback. That typically at the high school level isn't the best thing for your offense. There is a potential, Chris, where this season goes totally different than it went. You have to credit these seniors who really kind of stepped up, and now they have a chance to celebrate a region title.
Yeah, for sure. And Austin Stevenson, former soccer player, maybe still a soccer player, but was the kicker for the team, has done a great job of learning the quarterback spot. And you got a pretty good coach in Dustin Smith who specializes in quarterbacks, so I think that's really aided Stevenson.
Definitely should be a fun second half here. Right here, give me a key for the second half. Right here for Spanish Fork, give me a key there, and then a key for Woods Cross.
Well, for Spanish Fork, I just keep it on the ground. Let's say this is the key. Keep it simple, keep it special. Just keep running the ball. And then for Woods Cross, I think they're gonna have to come up with some turnovers and some big plays to get back in this ball game. But I imagine they're gonna fight till the end. And credit Woods Cross for as hard as they played so far in this ball game. It's not like Woods Cross is just getting blown out every week, 45 to nothing either. So their record's 0-9, but they've played some tough opponents.
And Chris, I think you brought up a good point that needs to be evaluated. And anytime you change an offense and you go from, you bring in a new coordinator, you bring in, there's a lot of changes that can happen with that, and sometimes it can take a year or two to really get that offense and get your athletes positioned in a spot to really run that offense the way it's meant to be ran.
Yeah, and learning the option is difficult. I have no clue how you'd even coach or run the option. That's not what I've played with or what I run with in Madden,
Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting to kind of see right here. Spanish Fork will get the football to start quarter number 3. Woods Cross will kick it away.
Yeah, Woods Cross. Maybe they'll go throw out all the actually, they're receiving. We've been saying that wrong the whole time, Ryan. Well, we apologize. Woods Cross will receive the kick.
So Wildcats get the football to start the third quarter. And it's a 21-0 lead for the Dons. And this is where really, if you are Spanish Fork, you really need a drive to start this third quarter.
Yeah, for sure. And, get that offense going. It is cold out there. It's showing 43 and rainy on my app, so that can't be right. But maybe watch out for some rain later tonight too.
I've heard rumors potentially for maybe a passing snow shower. And it's only October, Chris. I'm not quite ready for snow.
Who is? Skiers.
Austin Stevenson will kick it away. And this one goes deep. It will be returned from about the 5-yard line. Malapea on the return, gets across the 20, tries to step through a defender and goes down at the 24-yard line.
Yeah, Malapena with a decent return there. For Woods Cross, we'll see if they try and get a little more airborne here in the second half, or if they just keep it on the ground and see if they can get some momentum and some points that way.
That opening drive for Woods Cross back in the first quarter, I think, took about 7 minutes off the clock. I mean, it was a long drive.
Well, they're really good at using the entire 40-second play clock and snapping it with about 5 seconds to go would be my guess on average.
They're breaking the huddle now. There's about 14 seconds, and they're not set ready to go on that play clock. Under center, Nagel, 3-step drop, looks to throw, puts it behind his intended receiver, and that was Sam Bodell, number 84. That brings up 2nd and 10.
And the tough thing about taking 7 minutes off a drive and coming away with no points is you've had a lot of time of possession, but you got to come away with points in those situations, or especially if you're behind. But I think really Woods Cross, if they can avoid turnovers, that will help them out tremendously here in this half.
2nd down and 10, ball on the 24-yard line for the Wildcats. And the ball comes loose. Nagel, I think, picks it right up, tries to go forward, and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that brings up 3rd and 10. And these are the positions in this style of an offense, Chris, you don't want to be in a lot of 3rd and 10s.
No, not. And they came out throwing, and then their second play for Woods Cross, they have a center to quarterback exchange issue. Yeah, you never want to get in 3rd and 10 ever, right? And so that's where Woods Cross finds themselves.
Yeah, I don't think there's a coach out there that really loves the 3rd and 10.
Maybe Mike Leach, I don't know.
They'll pitch it outside. It's making a man miss right there is Brock Tandy, who lined up, but he gets just back to the line of scrimmage, and that brings up 4th down. In fact, he's going to lose a yard.
There was some sort of late hit. I couldn't tell who hit who. It might be on the Dons for a personal foul at the end of that play. We'll see.
And if that is, that's going to give a 1st down to Woods Cross.
It looks like it's on Woods Cross because the officials are pointing that way.
They're asking Dustin Smith what they want to do, and he may just decline the penalty here and just make Woods Cross punt. So that's what they do. They decline the penalty. So it'll be 4th down, and Woods Cross took 52 seconds off their drive to open up the 3rd quarter right here.
4th down here. We'll see if Spanish Fork brings the pressure. I know one thing is Harrison is a lot deeper than he was on earlier punts.
Harrison standing back at his own 35-yard line. And they get the punt away. Spanish Fork came for the block. They run right into the punter. They get the punt off, and it rolls down to the 35, 36-yard line right here. And now we'll have to wait and see, but this sure appears like it's going to be against and back up, or probably advance the ball for Woods Cross. We'll have to see if it's going to be a 5-yard penalty, or if it will be the roughing the punter.
We've seen multiple 1st downs result after Spanish Fork penalties for Woods Cross, and so that's something we want to avoid.
10:45 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Right here is we're going to see the Woods Cross offense was going off the field, and now the Woods Cross offense appears, or at least the punting team appears to be staying on the field, meaning I think if this is against Spanish Fork, it'll be a 5-yard variety.
It looks really cold out there. I see guys huddling up in blankets on the sideline. That's when you know it's cold, when you're cuddling for warmth purposes.
Well, and there's a pretty decent wind.
Oh yeah,
out there as well. Just looking, we don't have a great view of it, but the flags sit just beyond the west end zone here. And looking at it, you can see it off in the distance moving well enough. It will be the 15-yard penalty, which will give Woods Cross a 1st down. They'll mark the ball, and now they're going to mark it back where it's going to be 4th down. They mark it back to the 23-yard line.
I give up trying to figure out what happened.
But it's going to be a 1st down, Woods Cross. So the personal foul penalty gives the ball back to Woods Cross. The official will go pick up the flag that he threw.
Is it from the spot of the foul?
That's what it potentially looks like. Straight up ahead, it's Henderson. Not much going on 1st and 10. Henderson back to the 23-yard line.
And we've seen Henderson break away early in this ball game, but since then the linebackers, mostly Tayson Reed, has done a great job of making sure that Henderson doesn't get into the secondary.
So now it's going to bring up 2nd down and 10 from the 23-yard line. 10:16 to play, 3rd quarter. Dons lead 21-0 over the Woods Cross Wildcats. Wildcats using the play clock down to 6 seconds. This is what Chris mentioned earlier. They have been in no hurry. Nagel will look to throw, has a man. That is complete out to Brock Tandy. And Tandy maybe gets a yard or so. The Dons right there, Darian Harrison to make the tackle.
Yeah, great tackle by Harrison as he just flew to the ball that time, and Tandy does a great job to hang on for Woods Cross. But Harrison has really developed as this season's gone along as a big playmaker from that free safety position.
So 3rd down and 9 coming up here with 9:27 to go, 3rd quarter. And this is a position where Woods Cross and that offense not designed, Chris, to want to throw in a lot of 3rd and 9s.
Yeah, for sure they're not. And we got some graphics going on. That's just our scoreboard. We just have our camera pointed to that to keep you guys up to date on the score.
And now whistles, and I think we may have a timeout. And it will be a timeout called by Woods Cross here with 9:07 to go in the 3rd. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors here on Spanish Fork 17.
Yeah, we'd like to thank our sponsors here. We got Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikhail Thompson Hunter, Attorneys at Law, the Driggs Mortgage Team, MVP Sports, Lance Wilson State Farm Insurance, the Clegg Auto Group, and, of course, 2 Jack's Pizza. I'd like to thank these sponsors for making this broadcast and all the wonderful broadcasts we've had this year. And also remember to check us out on YouTube. The Spanish Fork 17 channel. Subscribe to that. You can watch all sorts of content, like exciting football games. I've seen some soccer games on there as well. City council meetings. So make sure you subscribe so you get that notification.
And you've tuned in all over the world.
I have. I remember I used to travel for work a little bit and couldn't sleep and caught the end of a Maple Mountain Spanish Fork football game when Jaron Hall was playing quarterback for Maple Mountain, if I'm not mistaken, in Italy. So
3rd down and 9 coming up, ball on the 24. Nagel rolls away, looking to throw. Pressure comes, and Rupena gets him from the backside for a 2 Jack's Pizza quarterback sack, and Nagel never saw the pressure coming from his blind side.
Oh, and it's great to see Nagel get up from that hit, but what a 2 Jack sack by Rupena as he loads up and is able to get all of that sack.
And now it's 4th and very long, and Woods Cross will have to punt from their end zone. Maple Mountain has scored again. It's now 23-0 Maple Mountain on top of Mountain Crest. I drew a blank on who they were playing. I was about to say Box Elder. Low snap goes through the punter's legs, and he will scoop it up and go out of the end zone for a safety. So it will be 2 points for the Dons right there. And that's about the last thing you wanted if you're Woods Cross was the bad snap. And a nice attempt by Austin Bradley there to try to do something with it, Chris. But really, that was the only option he had.
Yeah, the ball was rolling to Bradley, goes between his legs. And Bradley does the smart thing and just pushes the ball out of the end zone, takes the 2-point safety, and Spanish Fork will get the ball here after the safety as Woods Cross will have to kick it, I believe, from the 20 unless they've changed it at the high school level. Who knows? They change things here and there.
8:18 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Our next broadcast on Spanish Fork 17 isn't going to be until Spanish Fork, most likely until Spanish Fork plays in the first round of the playoffs. And that I don't think is scheduled until October 29th.
We'll call that the 2nd round of the playoffs.
That will be the 2nd round as long as Spanish Fork is able to stay and get their first round bye.
If Spanish Fork wins this ball game, their win percentage jumps up. Their opponent's win percentage will drop down. But I think their opponent's win percentage is going to drop up because Woods Cross has played some tough teams this year and has one of those higher opponent percentages when I was checking the RPI, and I'm confused. So we'll watch this kick here from the 20, this free kick for the Dons.
Saturday morning, I believe at 9 a.m. is when the final rankings will come out and the playoff bracket will be announced as well.
So what am I going to do tonight? Because usually after a well-fought battle on the gridiron here in high school, I go home and I watch my phone to see the RPI updating until about midnight, and then I call it a night.
These Wednesday night games throw me for a loop as there's a penalty flag on the kickoff. It's going to be a delay of game against Woods Cross.
Oh, things are just going snowballing for Woods Cross here.
And I think that's going to back the kick up another 5 yards. What throws me off, Chris, with not so much with the Thursday night game, but the Wednesday night game, I left work today. I'm like, okay, great. It feels like a Friday, but tomorrow's only Thursday. And I have 2 more days of work, which is fine. But yeah. I think it's going to be hard in the morning to get up and go to work.
Well, for me mentally, hope my boss isn't listening, but my least productive days of the year are March Madness and when I do a high school football game on a Wednesday or Thursday night, because mentally I'm already checked out that the next day's Saturday, as that's the normal cadence.
They'll get ready to kick it away from the 15-yard line right here after the penalty. It will be kind of a line drive kick, returnable for Spanish Fork from their own 25. Kate Olson with the return leapfrogs over one defender. A penalty flag comes in, and I think this is going to be, you can't hurdle at the high school level, but I think he was hurdling to try to get out of the way of a defender.
Yeah, there's two types of hurdles, one where you're trying to get an advantage and one where you're trying to avoid stepping on somebody, and I believe Kate Olson was trying to avoid stepping on somebody, but we'll see what the call is. I'll even turn up the mic here. I think that was a hold.
Because, yeah, he was just stepping over the defender. So it backs Spanish Fork up 10 yards to their own 28-yard line right here. Don's leading Woods Cross 23-0.
Yes, looks like they got Buck in the backfield there for Spanish Fork, and he's had an excellent 3 weeks of high school football as he's put up big numbers.
Buck is in the backfield right now, joined right here, the straight up the middle. Buck has a first down across the 35 to the 40 to about the 42-yard line before he's brought down. And this is where, Chris, you look at it, this is where you kind of wonder how worn out Woods Cross is going to be. They've been just hit with run after run all night.
And Buck just keeps that forward lean and just keeps wearing out those tacklers. But I think the real hero on that play was Stevenson. That was a bad snap, and he had to reach for it, but still was able to grab that and still get that over to Buck in perfect timing for that run.
Joshua Buck in motion right here with three wide receivers. Back to throw. They try to get it to Gunter on a quick out. Ball's tipped and goes incomplete. Buck wasn't in motion. He was in the backfield the whole time. That'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and that play is lucky. That one got tipped, as we saw, and there were 4 Woods Cross guys around the ball, and nobody was able to come up with it, so the Dons avoid a turnover. And I don't believe the Dons have turned it over tonight, and that's what's made this Dons team special is they create turnovers on defense, but they're not allowing extra possessions usually for the other teams by having their own turnovers.
2nd down and 10 from the 43-yard line of Spanish Fork. Up the middle, Joshua Buck, again, dragging a couple of defenders. He's going to get close to 8 there on the carry. He's going to be 3rd down and about 2 coming up.
Yeah, I tried to see if they'd allow me to use Buck in my fantasy league, and they won't. But another big pickup for him there on 2nd down. First down, there was the incomplete pass. But here's a critical 3rd down for Woods Cross. If they want to get back in this game, they're still only down 3 possessions. They need a stop here.
Buck the back in the backfield. Dons need about 2, and they'll get it out to Jace Gunter. Gunter has the first down and more inside the 40, still on his feet, brought down right around the Woods Cross 30-yard line. A nice job there out to Jace Gunter.
A simple pass play, but blocked well by the receivers on the edge there, and the Rapena on the lined up kind of in the slot tight end spot there. So great blocking downfield that really set that up, and keep complimenting the Dons, but they're having an excellent season, and that was great blocking there on the edge by the receivers. And Rapena, I guess, who's lined up as a tight end.
Clock moves under 7 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Stevenson back to throw, going deep down the right sideline. Tenny Worthen goes up and high points the ball and makes a catch inside the 10 to the 5-yard line.
Yeah, great job by Stevenson just putting that where only Worthen can come up with a catch, which he does. Dons are driving here in the 3rd quarter.
Knocking on the door, back inside the Driggs Mortgage Team red zone.
So far, the Dons have had Reed, Rapena, and Buck score a touchdown down here on the ground. We'll see if they give it to somebody new here.
Ready to go right here. 1st and goal from the 5. Stevenson under center, sends Rapena in motion. Pitches it outside. Joshua Buck at the 5, looking to get in, and he's in. Touchdown, Spanish Fork. Joshua Buck.
A great job by Buck following Faye on the outside there, and Woods Cross does not have a chance on that edge run.
And a nice touchdown right there for the Dons to go up 29-0 here in the third quarter. And it won't be Stevenson on for the extra point. They will send in the senior Ethan Valley.
Yeah, I think that's Buck, seventh rushing touchdown. He came in with 5, and now he's out of the couple there.
You have to think, as the kick goes up and good, he has to be in the running for Region 9 Player of the Year.
He's up there. I know that Springville has a pretty good running back in Rig Tripp that has got a lot of yards rushing, but Buck's really making a push, and Reed on the defensive side and Rapena, maybe they're the defensive MVPs, but imagine all sorts of guys will get all region. And both Reed and Buck have 7 rushing touchdowns on the season.
30-0 lead. The extra point was good, so 6:14 to go in the third quarter, and it's a 30-0 lead for Spanish Fork on top of Woods Cross. And right now, the Dons look to kind of do what maybe they had hoped tonight, build up a lead, get some of the younger players in there, and then just get ready to go, because now you get past tonight, Chris, a whole new season starts, and it's one loss and your season's over.
Yeah, it's sudden death playoff football, and it's exciting, really.
Kickoff will go deep from about the 11-yard line. On the return for Woods Cross, getting out is Jacob Howes, and Howes gets out right around the 20.
And really, outside of that first drive, we haven't seen much of a sustained attack here by Woods Cross. They're down by 30. They're most likely not going to win this game, but if you're Woods Cross, you definitely want to come out firing here and see if maybe you can't get some points and not get shut out. And for Spanish Fork, they've had one shutout prior, so that if they're able to hang on to this would be their second. And they've came close. They only gave up 7 points to Cedar earlier this season, the Dons did.
Wildcats will run an option play. New quarterback in, by the way, for Woods Cross. It will be Locke Smoot, a 5'9 sophomore who comes in, and Smoot there gets about 3 there on first down.
And Nagel, the senior, and he got hit really hard by Rapena, so I'm guessing that change is more due to probably trying to keep that young man safe. Hopefully he's all right.
You know, the players I feel for tonight, Chris, on the field are the ones that have been just standing on the sidelines, the reserves or some of the JV players, because they've just been standing for the most part. They're probably ready to get in there and run around a little bit. Right up the middle again, I believe that is Smoot, and Smoot able to get to about the 28.
Yeah, you got to feel bad for them. Also, the guys holding the chains, that's a thankless job, and it's been windy. So, but a great crowd that showed up here tonight on senior night as I look around, and there's quite a few people. So always remember that you can watch this on 17 if you want to stay home and stay warm.
3rd down and 2 coming up right here for Woods Cross. Right up the middle, ball comes loose, and diving on it, I think Woods Cross was able to get back on it. And that's going to bring up 4th down. Smoot able to come away with it, but the Dons almost had another turnover.
Looks like Woods Cross is possibly going to keep the offense on. Nope, they're going to bring the punt team on. But, yeah, just a bad snap there, and Woods Cross has no chance to run that play on 3rd down. And we've seen 3 or 4 errant snaps here for Woods Cross. I don't know if that ball it's cold out here. It's windy. I wonder if the center's hands are cold.
And sometimes when you get a new center in the game, that the exchange can get kind of tricky. Woods Cross will punt. Back deep to receive the punt is Darian Harrison. There's a penalty flag, and I think we may have a delay of game. But we'll have to wait and see here. Or maybe even a timeout. right here. I'm trying to see where the penalty flag, and they're saying it looks like offsides against Spanish Fork. Yeah, that's an offside, and it is. That's going to put the Woods Cross offense back on the field.
And I believe that's the third time Woods Cross has benefited from a third or fourth down penalty to get an extra set of downs. So if you're going to criticize the Dons, it could be those penalties that result in a first down, and that punt team needs to work on that in particular.
The Dons are starting to sub some of their backups in the game right here, just looking around the field a little bit here. 1st and 10 coming up here for Woods Cross. Smoot on the option, keeps it, gets across the 35, reaches for the 40. So a good pickup there from Smoot.
Smoot runs hard on that play, brings up a second manageable. The one thing we haven't seen, I'm not aware of Smoot throwing it yet. Nagel was a lefty. So sometimes when you have a left-handed quarterback and you've defended against that and they come back with a right-hander, it kind of can play with the secondary a little bit and also the receivers.
So bring up 2nd down and about 3, well, 2nd and 2 actually, for Woods Cross. 3:15 to go, 3rd quarter here on Spanish Fork 17. Henderson, the deep back, and they'll pitch it this time, looking to throw down the field. Has a receiver wide open at the 30-yard line. That is Trey Ita. Ita's pulled down at the 10-yard line as a heads-up throw there from Jacob Howes, and a nice throw there and a big first down for Woods Cross.
Yeah, great trickery. Lulled Spanish Fork to sleep here, and great pass on the option that time as Howes has fooled everybody getting that ball over to Ita. And now, for the first time tonight, Woods Cross is in the Driggs Mortgage red zone.
Knocking on the door with 2:55 to go in the 3rd quarter. We'll see what the Wildcats come out and do with Smoot. Henderson once again the deep back. It will be Smoot, and before Smoot can get going, penalty or whistles. I think this is going to back up the Wildcats. And they'll call a false start, and that will back Woods Cross up 5. 2:47 to go here in quarter number 3. Spanish Fork leading Woods Cross 30-0, but the Wildcats with their best opportunity of the evening to score. Woods Cross got into Spanish Fork territory on their first drive, but came up short on about a 46-yard field goal.
Yeah, now they've got 15 yards to go. They can't get a first down.
Henderson on the carry, trying to fight for whatever yards he can get. Gets a couple of yards straight up the middle, but not much.
A great second effort, though, by Henderson. He got stood up at the line but was able to shift a little bit and make some positive plays on a play that could have potentially been a loss. He's been very impressive. He's been a bright spot for Woods Cross when he gets the ball.
Henderson is a 6-foot sophomore, so that is a good sign if you're Brody Benson and Woods Cross.
Yeah, 6 foot, 200 pounds. He'll be there for a couple of years for Woods Cross, only getting better.
Smoot looking to throw, comes back to his right side, throws back corner just out of the reach right there of his intended receiver. Looking to see.
Yeah, it was Pepper Chase with great coverage for the Dons back there.
And the intended receiver they were trying to get the ball to.
I think that was number 9. Saliafu, yes.
In that far back corner. He ran, I think, off pretty much to the other side of the track, and so was looking to see where he went, and he came back on the field. I think he might have gone to go pick up the football, but it's going to be 3rd down and goal from the 13. Wildcats definitely looking for points right here. Smoot, this time pulled down. Ball comes loose. It's picked up by the Dons. Coming back the other way. The Dons have an opportunity. On the return, Tayson Reed down, pulled down at the Woods Cross 30-yard line. That ball was knocked loose, and Tayson Reed almost had a chance to go all the way right there. One tackler, and that's not an easy tackle to make one-on-one against Tayson Reed.
A great job by Tayson Reed picking that up, spinning out of the first tackle and taking it 57 yards as Henderson hustles back to make that. But Reed with his second fumble recovery in this ball game.
And now Spanish Fork with the football at the Woods Cross 29-yard line. Minute 31 to go in the third quarter. New quarterback in the game for Spanish Fork. And the first carry will go to Joshua Buck. He makes a man miss inside the 20, down to about the 17-yard line. As
is it Hackey?
Jake Hackey, the senior, comes in. The 6'3 senior will get a chance to play his final quarter here for Spanish Fork.
And that's good. We've seen injuries in the playoffs last year. Tyler Nelson from Maple Mountain went out with an injury in our game that we did, and that, it derailed Maple Mountain's chances really of winning their semifinal game. So it's great to get Hackey some reps here.
Hackey at quarterback, gives it to Darian Harrison. Harrison up the middle, gets a few yards to about the 13. So a good pickup of 5 from Darian Harrison.
And Harrison's an amazing back himself. What a great option the Don's coaching staff has at running back when you got Buck, Reed, and then who's your third string guy, Harrison? Wow, what a lineup.
A lot of options there for head coach Dustin Smith and the offensive coaching staff here at Spanish Fork. 30 seconds to go right here in the third quarter.
Yeah, we got a little Frozen soundtrack going on here because it is freezing.
Joshua Buck in the backfield again, and this time they'll pitch it to Buck. Cuts it up, looking for the 10. Now to the 5, cuts it back inside again. This time he's in. Touchdown, Spanish Fork. The Dons go up 36-0 here on Woods Cross.
And that is the hat trick for Buck, as now he's been in the end zone 3 times on 3 different runs. That one about 16 yards, I believe.
Definitely over 1,000 yards rushing for the year.
If not, he's close.
I would say he has to be over 150.
I don't know. I don't do math on the air, but we'll give him 1,000 yards on the season nonetheless.
Ready to go right here as Ethan Valley comes on for the extra point. Snap good, hold good, kick is up, partially blocked and no good. So Woods Cross, I believe it was Logan Stone who got there to partially block the kick.
And here comes the rain.
And right here with 36-0. Now I believe we get into the mercy rule right now as well. So after the kickoff, I believe that clock will just run. So we'll really get the kickoff and then head to quarter number 4.
And we got a 2-time mercy rule here as the rain's opened up. Mercy for both Woods Cross being down by so far, and for all the fans watching this game in person.
Can I just say that we're really fortunate tonight because we're inside a nice heated booth, but the rest of our crew who works extremely hard, they are having to brave the elements. At least the camera operators, a couple other people, they're in at least in vans, so they're at least inside, but it's still cold down there. So
it's a good thing our camera people up top are some of the toughest individuals in Spanish Fork.
That kick will go deep right here and into the end zone for a touchback, and that will end the third quarter. We moved to quarter number 4 here on Spanish Fork 17. Dons 36, Woods Cross 0. You're watching high school football on Spanish Fork 17.
Nobody plans on getting in an accident, but if you do, you can rely on the expertise of Mike McKell to protect and fight for your rights. Specializing in personal injury law, Mike McKell is the attorney you need. Call McKell, Thompson & Hunter, 801-798-9000.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jack's Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jack's Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork, or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
I definitely recommend the Driggs team. They're amazing.
Hi, I'm Greg with the Driggs Mortgage Team, where we believe there's no substitute for experience. Stop by our office today on Main Street and let us help you get into your brand new home.
At Clegg Auto Body, we pay attention to all the finer details, the small things. You know, a lot of people feel like they want their car quick and fast, but it takes time to get perfection. We work for the customer.
Quarter number 4, the first play with the clock already running. Right there is a running play there for Locke Smoot. Now, you didn't see this at home, but the officials gave the ready to play, start the clock sign right when the teams were ready for the snap. And so pretty much the rest of the way, we'll have a running clock.
Yeah, if we're lucky, we'll be out of here in 11 and a half minutes. We'll see how many change of possessions we have, though.
2nd down and 6 coming up. Ball on the 24-yard line here for, I think it's going to be the 23-yard line for Woods Cross. Smoot under center. Option play. Smoot keeps it, tries to go up the middle, lunges forward to the 26, so picks up a couple of yards.
And you mentioned this earlier, but a lot of backups in there for Spanish Fork. So they've got this running clock, but also they're able to get some new guys in there to get some playing time, get some experience in case depth is needed due to injuries or whatever the case may be once the Dons are in the second round of the playoffs, we'll assume.
And the good news is you get to play at home in this, at least in the second round, a potential home game in the quarterfinals. If you're Spanish Fork and you're in the top 4, you don't have to worry about leaving Spanish Fork until a potential semifinal appearance. And here I think you're going to have a false start against Woods Cross. And that will back the Wildcats up 5. I'm so used to seeing the clock stop on penalties, Chris. The first thought looking up the scoreboard was, wait, the clock is supposed to stop. And then I had to go, wait, Ryan, we're in the mercy rule. The clock's supposed to run.
Maybe it was, I don't know, but they kept it running either way. And so that brings up a 3rd and long here. It was 3rd and manageable to 3rd and 9. It's a pretty big difference.
3rd down and 9 from the 21-yard line. Straight up the middle run. And no, it's not. It's Smoot who gets it outside across the 40. Smoot's brought down close to midfield. I thought I was fooled. I thought it was the running back up the middle, but Smoot there faked it so well, faked everybody out, and Smoot has a nice first down gain out to the Spanish Fork 48.
Yeah, as you can see on our replay, great tackle by Tregesser, but Reed made a tackle on Henderson, the fullback that time, and so fooled everybody, but great job by Smoot keeping that. But if you're the Dons, you want to finish this game strong. You know, they want that shutout. That's something you can be proud of as a defense.
This time Smoot again keeping it on the regular option play. He's got another first down inside the 40, and he's out of bounds at around the 32.
And Smoot's been a real change of pace for Woods Cross, a spark plug, if you will, as he's able to fool our cameraman 2 plays in a row, but also uses Wills to the right side to get a first down.
1st and 10. Right now, they're going to...
I think we got an injured Don, and that's Leatherwood out there, I believe.
And so we'll kind of wait and see right here as they'll stop the clock for the injury, and then when we're ready to go again. Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors here one last time tonight. Without our sponsors, it would be much more difficult to bring you these broadcasts. We want to thank Lance Wilson, State Farm Insurance, MVP Sports, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Mikkel Thompson and Hunter, Attorneys at Law, the Driggs Mortgage Team, Clegg Auto Group, and 2 Jacks Pizza. We thank everybody for making these broadcasts possible as the rain continues to come down here in Spanish Fork tonight. And that's a pretty good rain shower coming down right now, as you start to see more and more people quickly start to pack up the blankets and
head to the parking lot, if you will.
Head to the parking lot, yep.
It's almost worse playing in these conditions where it's high 30s, low 40s outside and it's raining rather than just having it snow, in my opinion, at least when I played in the rain like this.
Smoot pressured, ball is out, diving on it. The question is, I think Woods Cross got back on it. Getting there
it's Reed with the hat trick. He's picked up 3 fumbles.
Ofa Lino knocked it out right there. The Dons will take over. And Tayson Reed having a nice game from his linebacker spot, and a big turnover right there. Gives the ball back to the Dons with 8:54 to go here in the 4th quarter.
And, yeah, 1st and 10, the Dons have picked up 4 turnovers. Don't believe they've turned it over to themselves, and that's going to win you a lot of football games.
So 8:40 to go. Clock continuing to run right here. Biggest takeaway tonight, Chris, if you're the Spanish Fork coaching staff, of the things you need to maybe clean up right before the playoffs?
Well, I think what they haven't been able to throw the ball with too much success. They haven't had to, but that's been the one downside.
Darian Harrison up the middle or outside there for a couple. Maybe the defensive penalties too, extending plays for the first down. But if you're Dustin Smith, you have to be pretty happy getting ready to go into the playoffs, knowing that you're going to be, or at least going to have a first-round bye. Whether you're 1 through 8, you would imagine with the win tonight, that's going to keep you in the top 4.
Yeah, I would think so, because a lot of teams aren't playing tonight, which means they won't move up.
2nd down and 8, ball on the 39-yard line. Here's a give to Harrison. Hackey, it looked like they had a little miscommunication. Hackey ends up keeping it, and Hackey loses a yard or so on the run.
Yeah, it looks like Hackey and Harrison had a miscommunication. Probably should have gave it to Harrison, but nonetheless, brings up 3rd and 1. And if I'm the coaching staff here, I'm probably letting Hackey throw it. This is a normal down and distance to throw it, even though you've got a 36-point lead, just to give him, a rep in a live environment throwing the ball. I know he's thrown a few passes, but, doesn't hurt in this situation. I don't think, as long as you're not throwing it go route here, I don't think it's bad sportsmanship either.
Ready to go right here. Hackey will run it, tries to bounce it outside, and Woods Cross in great pursuit, and Hackey may have lost another yard or so right there. Good pursuit right there from the Woods Cross Wildcats.
Yeah, for sure, and they'll get another chance here to score as the clock continues to run. We're under 6:45 now, great job by Woods Cross on that possession, and Spanish Fork unable to get any momentum or really looked out of sync on that on those runs to either Harrison or Hackey. Just didn't look as crisp, that possession.
Austin Stevenson will come in to punt right now with 6:21 to go. Here it has gone final, by the way. Maple Mountain beats Mountain Crest 30-7. As Stevenson gets this punt away, and this one will bounce around the 30, takes a roll now inside the 20. A nice punt from Austin Stevenson down to the 12-yard line. So Woods Cross will get another possession, but they'll have the ball deep in their own territory, having to go 88 yards to get in the end zone.
And you mentioned the Maple Mountain score went final. How tough is that for the Golden Eagles and Coach Burton Shaw in particular, having to wait until Saturday to know whether it's time to turn in the gear or to get ready for an opponent, because they're right on that edge.
Yeah, and that would be kind of the tough part. I would imagine here you'd say enjoy fall break. We'll find out Saturday with that. The nice thing is with not having those playing games that they used to have, maybe if people were tied for the 4th seed, you don't have to worry about playing on Tuesday to try to get into a game for the following Saturday. If you're in, you're going to have all week to prepare.
And those playing games sometimes involve 3 teams, which was interesting.
We have whistles and timeout Woods Cross. So the Wildcats want to talk about it right here with 5:30 to go here in the 4th quarter. They will stop the clock on timeouts. Woods Cross with 1 remaining right here. But, you and I were a part of a couple of those playing games with a 3-way, those 3-way ties. And it was interesting because they would have, 2 teams play the first half, and then whoever won that, they got to play the second half against a team that won a coin toss to only have to play one half.
I swear I've seen 4 or 5 of those. Maple Mountain had a hack of trying to figure out how to get into that play-in game somehow every year. And so, yeah, we've covered a lot of those. But, yeah, that was interesting. I didn't like them because usually you'd go, Maple Mountain won a couple of those, and then they'd go and play the number 1 seed, which was, the best team in that region, which is usually better than the 4th through 6th team in Region 8, we'll call it, because Maple Mountain was usually in Region 8. And so it's tough, and usually the team that wins the play-in game just gets blown out anyways.
Chris and I did a play-in game our first year together with Maple Mountain. They won the play-in game. Who did they play on the road in the first round as Henderson goes up the middle here for about 2 yards? none other than the Woods Cross Wildcats. As Chris and I made the trek up to Woods Cross, and it was a day that didn't seem like it was much warmer than it is tonight.
It was windy up there, and it was they have a small press box at Woods Cross, but so cold that they managed to fit about 70 people in it. I don't know what the fire marshals thought of that, but they probably weren't aware of the situation. All I know is it was awkward that how close we were with everybody in there.
2nd down and 7, ball on the 15-yard line. 4:42 to go here in quarter number 4. They'll pitch it outside, and making on the carry there was Calvin Malapea, as Canton Nagley is back in the game at quarterback. And that's going to bring up 3rd down.
They got a penalty. They'll stop the clock to sort that out, but this has been a fast 4th quarter. I'm shocked the Maple Mountain game got done before this one, and they didn't have 35 points, so they didn't go into this running clock.
They were at halftime right about 5 minutes before we were. Games probably would have ended about the same time, but our 2nd quarter there at the end took a long time to play those final few minutes.
Got a little roughing the passer there. Another 1st down, aided by a penalty, and I imagine Woods Cross's offense has picked up maybe 3 or 4, but the penalties by the Dons has matched that for sure.
So Wildcats will have a 1st down here with 4:23 to go here in quarter number 4. Right here, Woods Cross will take time to huddle. Once the official, and you can't quite see it in your picture, he's right behind kind of the last offensive player. He'll wind his hand, kind of make a arm circle there, and that's the signal to the clock operator to start the clock, which he does here right on the ready to play. Back to throw. Nagel taking a shot downfield. Has a receiver. One-on-one coverage. Incomplete. A penalty flag comes in as they were trying to get it out to Trey Ita. And I think that was Jace Gunter, number 6, who was in the coverage right there on Ita. And there's a couple of Dons trying to plead their case here. That wasn't pass interference.
And Ita came really close to scoring a touchdown in this game off that reverse before Woods Cross ended up fumbling.
So pass interference indicated against the Dons. That's a 15-yard penalty, and it will be a 1st down for Woods Cross. So the Spanish Fork defense gifts the Wildcats their 2nd 1st down on the drive. They'll move the ball to the 43-yard line of Woods Cross. Under 4 minutes to play here in quarter number 4. Dons leading Woods Cross 36-0. Woods Cross, I'm sure, would love to end the season on a high note with a touchdown drive. Back to throw. Nagel steps up, goes down, gets maybe back to the line of scrimmage. In fact, he's going to lose a couple yards as Rupena gets there again, number 44.
And we'll give Tubby Rupena a 2-jack sack on that. I don't know if it was a run play, but we'll give it a sack nonetheless. So he's pretty much lived in Woods Cross's backfield. They have not had an answer for these Dons on the defensive line. Schwenke, Fiula, seen Hernandez was in there quite a bit. So Dylan Thomas, great job by the Dons defensive line tonight.
2nd and 12 from the 41-yard line. Woods Cross will throw. They get a completion out there to number 8. That's Tandy. And a penalty flag, I think, came in. Tandy out of bounds at around the 47-yard line.
I think it's a late hit out of bounds as the Dons really were playing a pretty good game, but now are just having way too many penalties in this 2nd half.
And that's going to be another 15-yard penalty, and that will be from the end of the run. So, again, it will be another Woods Cross 1st down right here. This should put the ball, they'll mark it down to the 35-yard line of Spanish Fork.
Woods Cross starting to go a little bit faster. Like you mentioned, they want to end the season with some points in this last game.
Because Woods Cross would have to make a big jump in the RPI. And this year, unlike the season we had last year with COVID being a big issue. Not a lot of games canceled this year due to COVID. So those teams in the 26, 27, 28 spot aren't going to have the same potential to get into the playoffs because of some kind of COVID cancellation or something like that.
Looks like they're going to make Reed come out of the game here. And they'll stop the clock for that.
And now they'll wind it and get ready to go here. 2:33 to go here in the fourth quarter. Nagel keeps it, tries to get outside, goes down back at the 38-yard line.
And Woods Cross goes the wrong direction once again.
You have to, when you look at this Woods Cross roster, Chris, if you're head coach Brody Benson, a lot of things that you like, and one of the things that you like about this roster is the fact that you do have a lot of underclassmen who have seen significant time here tonight.
Yeah, and it kind of ebbs and flows, doesn't it? Like we saw Spanish Fork's got quite a few seniors this year. Maple Mountain had a lot last year, and this year Maple Mountain has a lot of underclassmen, so it seems to ebb and flow. But you definitely want a consistency of a couple underclassmen, but a majority of your seniors that are playing. I think that's the ideal for successful high school programs.
Going to have a false start against Woods Cross. That'll back the Wildcats up 5.
Yeah, our official's getting a lot of time here on Spanish Fork 17. I'm sure he's not the most popular guy, but he'll take his time with all these penalties nonetheless.
The clock will continue to run here. A minute 34 to play, fourth quarter. Coming up here in our postgame show, we'll have a quick postgame commentary, have our MVP Sports MVP of the game as well. As Woods Cross looking down the field, trying to take a chance, I believe again, looking for Trey Ita. And that one goes incomplete, looking for Ita, brings up third down.
Third and long, and so clock still running even though it was an incomplete pass. Woods Cross wants any points here. They're going to have to go a little bit faster than they are now. Maybe they're just playing to end this thing too.
It'll be third down and 18 coming up right here. 36-0 Spanish Fork. This is the kind of game you wanted if you're head coach Dustin Smith. Really end the season on a positive note. A defensive shutout right here will do that. And now you're setting yourself up for a nice playoff run.
Yeah, 7-2 is a great season at the high school level. It's hard to win games.
There's a completion down the middle to Tandy, who makes his move. He's down to about the 16-yard line with 39 seconds to go. Woods Cross looking like they may have a couple more plays to see if they can get in the end zone.
And the one thing you don't like to see out there is Jace Gunter had a pretty big hit there, but he's struggling to get off the field.
Don's having to hurry right here. Woods Cross had an extra man on the field as well. And we're going to have a timeout, Spanish Fork. So the Dons will call a timeout with 25 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. They want to make sure they're all lined up properly right here. And I think the toughest thing maybe if you're Spanish Fork, unlike before the RPI days, Chris, you knew exactly how your bracket matched up. So if you were Spanish Fork, you had a good potential. You could say, hey, we're getting the number 4 team out of Region 6. This is who it is right now. And you could kind of start to go ahead and start preparing. But really, this kind of forces some teams almost to take a couple of days off and wait until Saturday.
Yeah, and that really doesn't provide anybody a disadvantage, though, because it affects all teams. And if you're Spanish Fork, you're like, sweet, we're in the top 8. We don't have to we don't really have to prepare because they don't know who they're going to play. It'll be one of 2 teams, and so I'm sure they'll run some basic stuff at the first of next week's practice and then maybe try and predict who they'll play later. But you don't want to spend too much time getting ready for 2 teams, I think, at the high school level.
Ready to go right here with 25 seconds to go. They'll start to run the clock. Wildcats with the football at the Spanish Fork 17-yard line. 3 wide receivers back to throw. Wildcats looking for the end zone. Tandy, I think, lost it. He turned around almost like he couldn't find it. Brings up second down.
And they stop the clock there. They'll reset it when the official winds up for play. And that might be it.
The Dons will have a chance to ring the victory bell here tonight, come up with a big W, and that's a good way to start the fall break. 1 second on the clock. Woods Cross will not get it off. In fact, they might have called a timeout with 1 second on the clock. So Zach Dart will make his appearance on the year, as he was supposed to be the starting quarterback, had a great opportunity, and now he will get a chance to play one final snap. We did have a timeout, Woods Cross, by the way.
Looks like he ran onto the field. We'll play the corner spot there.
And so right here and I think that will be, Woods Cross called a timeout, so both teams will do that. So right here with 3 seconds on the clock, good to see Zach Dart have a chance to get on the field here on senior night.
Yeah, for sure, and they put 5 seconds on the clock there. Woods Cross must have called the timeout earlier. Who knows? This game seemed like it was over, but we'll get one more shot. But disappointing for Zach Dart. He should be back for baseball season's the rumor.
It'll be interesting to see, and we wish Zach nothing but the best, as he'll have an opportunity to get back and have maybe one more high school baseball season before starting his collegiate baseball career up at BYU in Provo, and a great program that Mike Littlewood has put together up there, and now a potential move for Zach Dart to have a chance to be there for when they move to the Big 12.
Big 12, I didn't think of it from a baseball aspect, mostly just from a football, basketball, and that was it.
Second down and 10 from the 17-yard line. I think everybody's kind of waiting to say, hey, you're going to see if they're going to start the clock. Now they will wind it with 5. They'll take a shot looking at the end zone, and it goes incomplete. Looking again for Ito, and you can tell he thought he had a good chance there for a catch and just had to go through his hands, and that one goes incomplete, and that's the ball game. So the Dons come out with a 36-0 victory over Woods Cross here at home to end the regular season at 8-2. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll have our post-game show and our MVP Sports MVP of the game here on Spanish Fork 17.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport: paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Hey, I didn't order any pizza.
After you saved me so much dough on insurance with that Parker promo, I devised a promo for you.
State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right.
If you want the real deal, contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
A 36-0 win for Spanish Fork over the Woods Cross Wildcats. Ryan Pickens alongside Chris Hurst. And Chris, you kind of wondered at some point when would we see Spanish Fork pull away. And tonight, Woods Cross had a really good opening drive where maybe it may have had some people at home, and at least had me, I don't know about you, thinking, hey, Woods Cross might be able to make this one a little more interesting than some people were thinking. But that Spanish Fork defense was just sweltering tonight, just didn't give Woods Cross much, especially when the Wildcats needed a big play or something to try to come away with 6.
Yeah, Spanish Fork's defense came up with INTs and fumble recoveries all night long when they needed to, and that's why they got the shutout tonight.
Definitely exciting to see. You talk about through the running game with Joshua Buck and things like that. We didn't see Spanish Fork really throw the ball too much tonight. It really was the ground game that really carried the Dons, kind of like we've seen the last few weeks. It's really been that running game that's really helped propel the Dons offense, and an offense that maybe in years past we've seen a little more of the passing game. The running game for the Dons right now looks to be really tough.
Yeah, they had 5 rushing touchdowns, 3 individuals scoring on the ground, including 3 by Joshua Buck. So Joshua Buck's really picked up his game this second half of the season. And really the offensive line has done a great job of dominating the line of scrimmage in the last few games we've seen.
Definitely an exciting time right now for Spanish Fork as they get ready to go into the postseason. They'll be 7-2 overall heading into the postseason. Now it kind of gets tough because now you have to sit and wait. You don't find out till Saturday about either, for Spanish Fork, for most likely either one or two opponents you're going to get, but you also don't know exactly where you're going to stand in that final RPI, whether you're going to move up a spot to 2, whether you might fall down to 4. I mean, there's a lot of different variables at this point that could be played out.
Yeah, and you definitely, after this win, you don't want to fall out of the top 8. I don't think they will, but are they 5th? I don't know. One of the regions still had region games. It might have been Region 7 this week that had games going on. But nonetheless, Spanish Fork's done a great job. They win a region title and put themselves in a spot to where they should have a couple of home games if they're able to win in the playoffs.
Our MVP Sports MVP of the game has usually gone to an offensive player, as you would see kind of most times. But tonight, we talked about how just overwhelming the defense was for Spanish Fork, and that was really because they were able to get some pressure in the backfield, and that's exactly key tonight with our MVP Sports MVP of the game.
Yeah, so Tubby Rapena is who we're giving it to. Is he caused fumble after fumble after fumble tonight, and really the whole defensive line controlled Woods Cross and didn't allow that option attack to get rolling.
Definitely an exciting night here for Spanish Fork. Our next broadcast here for you on Spanish Fork 17 will come most likely in that second round of the state playoffs with whoever Spanish Fork will play. Most likely here is they got some line dancing going on right now on the field right here, but definitely an opportunity for them to be able to have an opportunity to have a home game. You see our crew upstairs. They are bundled up, braving the cold and the rain tonight. We thank them for all they've done throughout the year.
We got a tough Badger up there for sure.
As an exciting night for sure right here. We look forward to having at least one game, hopefully 2 in the playoffs for you here on Spanish Fork 17. It's been a fun regular season for our entire Spanish Fork Community Network team here and my partner Chris Hurst. I'm Ryan Pickens saying so long tonight, where Spanish Fork defeats Wood Cross 36-0 here on Spanish Fork 17.